I like to start off the pod with a little introduction. Some people come on with a musical introduction with some sounds, some luxury, beautiful notes, and we like to come on with that introduction. It warms us up, gets us in the mood, gets us ready to discuss whatever we are about to discuss. Tony, Anthony, checking 1, 2, 3. Pleasure to have you back.
Minnesota Tim, thank you for having me back.
Oh, man. Early Berg is the worm.
You can still hear the morning voice rise and grind.
Rise and grind. No morning wood for Tony this morning. Getting up and recording the pod.
Yeah,
5:30.
You're about the only person I would get up at 5:30 to record anything with. So
Really? Look at you. Wow.
special. It's the connection, bud. I get some energy going though here.
Goes to years. Here, I can warm me up. Here, why don't I play this? This will warm me up right here. But let this fill up the soul. It's only like about 4 seconds, but let this fill up the soul. Okay.
On-field advantage is the top seed in the NFC, and they're really uptight.
All right, leave studio. Click. No, what a terrible game. What a terrible decision.
Was it a terrible decision, or was it terribly executed? If Saquon Barkley catches the pass, are you still calling it a terrible decision?
Yes.
Okay.
It's third down. You run the ball. You have Saquon. You have one of the best offensive lines. You run the ball. Even if you don't get it, you get to run an extra 40 seconds off the clock. If you do get it, game over.
Yeah.
You completely take it off. So that was a dumb decision. Dropping the ball on third down from Saquon. I don't want to call that a dumb decision, but just it's how do you drop that? It hits you right in the hands. You got to catch that. And then the defense just 7 plays and almost in just a little over a minute, just completely right down the field. It was just dumb decisions all around with that.
Yeah. Everything that could have went wrong for the Philadelphia Eagles in that situation.
I will say that's probably the what's all that 1 in a million chance talk.
Right there.
Exactly. Like, okay, you actually go for it, or you actually pass.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Oh, I spoke over the drop. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You run it, you pass it instead of running it. Okay, and then the worst case scenario, you get the wide open guy who drops it, and then worst case scenario, the defense But
yeah, according to ESPN Next Gen stats, the Atlanta Falcons only had a 0.7% chance to win. And I don't know if you're watching the ESPN broadcast or the ESPN2 Peyton Manning and Eli Manning broadcast. Doesn't do it for you?
Nah. I mean, it was the first year they came out with it. It was like, oh, those are some cool clips, but
yeah,
I don't know. I want to watch the game, not necessarily watch somebody else watch the game.
Right. I think the ESPN2, the Manning cast, is perfect for the people that want to watch the game that's not your team. Like, I tried to watch it for the Vikings Monday Night Football game one time, and it's too distracting. I'm just trying to watch the game, and watching them at the same time is tough. But when you're watching another team that you don't necessarily have anything invested in, I think it fits in really, really nice. And like their reaction to Saquon Barkley, their predictions on what they should do, like that mattered to me in that moment. And it was entertaining more than it would have been just to watch the game. And Peyton Manning went nuts when they decided to pass the ball. I mean, if it's 3rd and 3, why don't you do 2 tush pushes and get the first down? You probably average about 2.5 yards on a tush push. So you do it twice, and it's automatic first down. Game's over.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you have Saquon Barkley. You have one of the best offensive. It's 3rd and 3. But, like, I don't know. Sometimes you just overthink it and try to get too cute with it.
Try to get too fancy out there.
Yeah, I think it's just you go back to old school ground and pound and. Minnesota Tim and I, we love the old school just quotes, especially with football, bringing in the jumbo pack.
Yeah, bringing in the extra lineman onto the field.
I formation.
They play the trenches.
This is a battle won in the trenches.
Not this little quarterback RB option stuff. Let's put it back into the trenches. Oh man. So Nick Sirianni, should he be fired after that?
No. He's still a little over a season away from taking the Eagles to the Super Bowl. So no, I still think he's a good coach. Again, like I said last week, he's a goober, but he's my goober. Sometimes he makes goober decisions. But
Does he have the most punchable face? I have 2 punchable faces for you to decide from. This video, which we just played, I'll play it again. That's a punchable face right there. I don't know if you think that's a punchable face, but that's a punchable face. And then I got this punchable face for you. I'll share my screen here with you. Whose face is more punchable right here?
Soul Skater.
Soul Skaters from Brink. Val, is that a more punchable face? Or is Nick Sirianni a more punchable face?
So the most punchable face in the world, I'm going to go real niche here, is Bo Hostler.
Oh, I almost pulled that. I had that one. I had that one up on Google before.
Yes, Bo Hostler has the most punchable face in the world.
Honestly, I don't know. I think Nick Sirianni's got him beat.
No, not a punchable face. No, I'm trying to run through the list of NFL head coaches.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that.
That's very punchable.
He looks like a word that you edited out last week when I came on the show.
I was just trying to protect you, bud.
Okay.
You just talked about applying to this Christian podcast place, and I was like, well,
that's all right. They moved on to other candidates, so I can say whatever.
Say whatever you want. So how does that make you feel that they moved on to other candidates? What do you want to say about it?
I mean, it's par for the course now. I'm kind of used to it at this point.
I thought you'd open up about it since you can say whatever you want.
No, I mean, I didn't fit there. I didn't fit what they were looking for, so didn't feel the connection.
What are they looking for, bud?
Not me.
Not you? No.
49ers, huh? That was a big win.
Yeah, what a game that was. I don't think anybody saw that coming except for me. When I predicted the 49ers to win 24-17 and the Minnesota Vikings won 23-17. So I just thought I would motivate the Vikings by posting the exact opposite score of what actually happened. And Sam Darnold did it again. Almost 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sam Darnold. Sounds like a dentist. But
Dr. Darnold.
What's that?
Dr. Darnold.
Dr. Darnold. Sounds like a book. Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. So yeah, he played really well. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a guy to perform better, especially at the end of the game, without wide receiver 1, without wide receiver 2, without tight end 1. It's like, I think every Minnesota Vikings fan had the same idea that Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings were going to cough this game up, because how are you going to move the ball with guys called Brandon Powell, Tristan Jackson, and Jalen Naylor? And somehow Jalen Naylor. They completed 2 third-down plays and double moving the chains at this point of the time. It's all about giving yourself manageable third-down opportunities and moving the chains, and that's exactly what they did. Kick the game-winning field goal, which I call it game-winning field goal because it put the game away with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. So it was a crazy performance, and I was shocked and excited that Sam Darnold did it again.
Yeah, I thought it was super impressive without your top 3 pass catchers to be able to do that, even if you've already kind of built up a lead, even if it's kind of just hanging on against probably the best team. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, hanging on.
Against the best team, question mark, in the NFC.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a lot of parity in this league this year. So, no, I thought it was super impressive. Does that change your overall perspective? I know it's still early in the year, 2-0 teams, yada yada. It's still a lot of ball left to be played. Does that change your perspective throughout the year? You thinking playoffs? You thinking maybe deep playoff run?
Deep playoff run would be a stretch, but considering I had them at 5-12 at the beginning of the year, and they've almost eclipsed half of those wins already, it's hard not to be excited, and it's hard. It's also hard not to. It's hard. It's also hard not to think about the pretenders and contenders, and there's always some of those every single year. And every year there's always a 2-0 football team. It's like, how are you 2-0? And then what right? The cream rises to the top. The cream eventually rises and you become who you become. So now is the tough decision right now of like the tough opinion of, okay, are they pretenders? Is this something that they can do consistently for the rest of the year? Or is this something that, they can ride out for a long time? Packers, Jordan Love, when is he going to come back? Maybe week 4 against the Vikings. The Lions are solid, but they lost to the Buccaneers. They're probably still the division favorite. But the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams, a team that a lot of people were predicting to perform a lot better this year than they are, got bailed out again in their game against the Titans for Will Levis doing stupid Will Levis things. And Caleb Williams has yet to throw a touchdown pass, so he has not looked like the number 1 overall pick. The division is looking more open than it was before the season started. And this was the toughest part of the schedule for the Vikings. Later on, they got the Jaguars and the Titans and easier opponents. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against the Texans this Sunday. I mean, if they win this game, everything's going off the rails and the Vikings are going to the Super Bowl. So we'll see. It'll be fun to watch, but I think it's hard not to be surprised by what they've done so far.
Hard not to be surprised?
It's hard not to be surprised. Yeah.
So you thought they could do this?
It's hard not to be surprised. Give me a second. It's hard to be surprised. No,
there you go.
I said it right. It's hard to be surprised. It's hard. If you say it's hard to be surprised, then you're saying that.
Thumbs up. Even AI.
I don't know why it does that. It's so stupid.
Even AI Google doesn't know what you're talking about right now. I'm telling you, it's a good try.
It's hard to be surprised.
Yes.
No, it's the exact opposite. If it's hard to be surprised, then it's, why is it still doing that?
It's just saying, good job, bud. Keep going.
Come on, going. You got it. You're almost there.
Keep going.
It's hard to be surprised. I'm not over this yet. It's hard to be surprised. If it's hard to be surprised, then like you're not surprised. But if it's hard not to be surprised, then I think you're surprised.
I think you have that backwards.
I don't think I do.
Okay. Give it a poll.
Yeah, let's get a little poll out there. If you're listening, if you made it 13 minutes into the podcast, give it a little poll. And before the podcast started, I was taking a massive dump. And how often does it happen to you where you're taking a poop and it's kind of stuck? And I had my computer on and I was emailing you the link to record, which is the same link every time. So if you're ever wondering for the link, it's the same link as it was the last time.
You have your computer in the bathroom?
Yeah, on my lap. Call that multitasking, bud.
That's disgusting.
Really?
A computer?
A computer? Yeah, in the bathroom? Like on my knees while I'm pooping?
Yeah, I get the phone.
Yeah, well, what's the difference?
Your poo particles is right there.
Yeah, what's the difference?
It's not a phone. I'm not bringing in my giant laptop to sit on top while I'm taking a dump.
Well, the laptop doesn't get affected by the poop because the poop is going down into the toilet and the laptops are on my knees.
Yeah, it's 6 inches away. 7 if you're working with something a little extra.
How often does it happen to you where your foot falls asleep while you're taking a poop?
Since I don't take the laptop into a bathroom with me, not very often.
But even if your phone, even if you're on your phone for like 10 minutes, it doesn't take long for that blood not to be able to get to your foot.
You're a quick dumper too, so.
Historically.
Historically.
Historically, I am. Not always. Historically.
I'm more of a slow dumper. Mine kind of comes in waves. Anyway, back to the Vikings.
Yeah.
So you said you got the Texans next, then the Packers, then the Jets before your bye. Those are all very winnable games.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah, the
all.
Jets don't look that good. The Packers could be without Jordan Love. And it's funny when 952 and I were doing our seasonal predictions. We were talking about when is the Minnesota Vikings, when are they going to get their first win of the season? Could they go 0-5 by the bye week? Now we're talking about could they go 5-0 by the bye week? Because I didn't think they would dominate the Giants the way they did in week 1. On the road, Sam Darnold, they don't really know what you're getting. And to be fair, it's not like everybody else had the Vikings chalked up as the number 1 team in the NFC North at this point of the season. The over-under via DraftKings was 6.5. So they're overcoming everybody's expectations right now.
Yeah,
but as far as the Philadelphia Eagles division, well, what is everybody 1-1? Redskins.
Everyone except the Giants.
Except for the Giants. The Cowboys got trounced by the Saints. And then the Eagles beat the Packers and then lost to the Falcons. So
I think this week for the Eagles will be a big kind of telling point. So they got the Saints. It's in New Orleans.
Ooh, yeah.
I was excited about the defense after week 1 against the Packers. They gave up a lot of yards. They gave up a lot of big plays, but there weren't a lot of sustained drives just moving down the field.
I'd be very careful about your defensive coordinator. We had the Ed Donatel a couple of years ago. Just a warning. And the Ed Donatel ran the Vic Fangio defense, where it was all yards. But the Minnesota Vikings defense that year.
Break.
What's that? Yeah. Bend, don't break defense, exactly. Led the NFL in turnovers that year, but teams just kept on coughing up the ball near the red zone. So it's a very dangerous defense to play.
Yeah, so the first, I think, 3 drives that the Falcons scored on the other night did the same exact thing. They actually marched the ball down the field, and then the Eagles held them to field goals. And then the last 2 drives, it was just they marched right down, sustained drives, all that stuff, and right into the end zone. So week 1, I was on the defense, excited about it. Week 2, just absolutely, the defense looks terrible. Couldn't tackle, didn't do a lot of things right against an offense that only scored 10 points in week 1 in the Falcons. So I think this will be a big test for them on Sunday, going up against the Saints. They've scored 40+ in each game. So we'll see.
The next 2 games are going to be tough for you guys. Out the road against the Buccaneers the following week, 2, a little playoff rematch. Buccaneers trounced, absolutely dominated the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Both games are on the road. And then you get the bye week. You don't want to be 2-4 at that bye week, Mr. Tony, Mr. Anthony. Mr. 2-4 at the bye week, that would really suck.
2-2.
You farted in the mic?
I did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it. You broke up, bud.
You were talking over it. I talked over your drop. You talked over my fart. Yeah, I'm not that scared of the Bucs. So I think either way that's a winnable game.
Really?
Yeah.
They just went into Detroit and beat them.
Yeah, 20-16. Aiden Hutchinson had 4.5 sacks against that line, and Baker Mayfield. I think they'll be able to generate some pressure against the Bucs. I'm more nervous about the Saints. I think the Saints are the best team in that division, even after just 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, they're sure looking like it. But man, does the Eagles' schedule really open up middle of the season? You got the tough Giants. Of course, you got them twice in the same division. You got the tough Jacksonville Jaguars at home. You've got the Washington Commanders. Man, you guys got some easy divisional games. Commanders and Giants, 4 games a year just between those teams. And then why don't you just throw the Carolina Panthers in Week 14 and the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 15? 2 anemic offenses. Wow, what a word. Anemic.
Anemic is a word that sounds like how it is.
Yeah, anemic. What does it mean? Do you know what the definition of anemic is?
Small.
Small?
I'm going to say the word small is in anemic.
Let me find it here. Anemic. How do you spell anemic? Anemia is falling. Oh, no, I spelled it wrong. That's why. Anemic.
Bad.
Well, it's correcting from... Oh, here we go. This is stupid. What's AI thinking here? Let me show you my screen, bud. This is ridiculous. I'm typing in anemic into Google, and it's saying that I'm not right. It's saying anemia. But then you scroll down a little bit, and then there it is. Anemic. Suffering from anemia.
Great.
What's that?
You. Great. That's a perfect definition. Now I know exactly what I want.
So why do people say it's anemic? What does it mean to be anemic? Anemia is that's exactly what I meant. Anemia is a problem of not having enough healthy red blood cells or hemoglobin to carry oxygen to the body's tissue.
So that's the issue. Daniel Jones doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells to be able to lead the offense of the Giants down the field.
Maybe the Giants should look into that. Maybe they should get him checked out by the doctors to see why he's suffering from red blood cells. Am I not spelling anemic right?
Next offseason, the Giants front office needs to look at the hemoglobin count of each offensive lineman that they try to sign.
Well, if I not spell anemic, still red blood cells. Like why? Okay, why am I struggling here? Use anemic in a sentence. Maybe.
The use of anemic in a sentence is difficult to spell on Google.
The doctor told me I was slightly anemic. The band played an anemic rendition of a classic love song.
There it
Investors
is.
are worried about the stock's anemic performance.
Lacking vigor, power, vitality, colorfulness.
Well, that's better. Okay, that's a better definition. I don't know why it took so long to get there.
Yeah, you spelled it right.
I did. Am I dumb?
Lacking power.
Power package. Anyway, so who are you voting for this year?
Whoa. I was having sex with my wife the other night.
Were you?
Well, yeah, I'm married.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was anemic. My red blood cell count was too low. She had a hemoglobin.
With no regard for human life.
Oh, there it was. And whatever single conversation, I cry. At some point, eventually it gets there. And it sure did on that one. Oh my gosh. There was a tweet that I sent you the other day, and we got to talk about it. Let's see. Let me find it. Oh. Whew. I'll share the screen with everybody so we can see it. Oh man, the Carolina Panthers.
Oh,
What a joke they are.
that was terrible.
Yes, it was. The Carolina Panthers comment section on the 9/11 post is something else. So they're talking about 9/11. Never forget. Every team does it every year. Honor the people that fell on that day. And then here's the comment section. Our situation is worse than theirs. Another comment. This team makes me wish I was on those planes.
Jeez.
Wow. Another comment. I won't forget how bad the Saints did us in week 1.
Saddam Hussein would be a better defensive coordinator.
That's the best one. That's the best one.
He's running a dictator 4-3.
Heavy on the blitz.
He's just cutting everyone's head off, coming through the 4 gap.
Got knives in their pockets.
I was gonna go real dark. Keep it. We'll keep it light.
Well, we don't want you to miss a job opportunity, bud. Maybe those Christian
Focus on
podcast
the
hosts
family might be watching.
It's true. Oh man, more comments. This post is still not saved. Every Sunday feels like I'm reliving 9/11. Our tower has been collapsing since 2017. Never forget 9/8. Sir, a second Saints wide receiver has hit the end zone. Honestly, some of those are pretty creative.
Have the Vikings ever had a season like that where it's just nothing on offense, no defense, no talent, no the coaching? I guess that dude for the Panthers, he's a rookie head coach, but is there a season that you can remember that's been comparable to that where it's just like you don't even want to watch?
Well, there's a year that the Vikings drafted Adrian Peterson with like the 7th overall pick. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're going to draft him with the 7th overall pick, you've had out of a really bad season. And there was one year where the Vikings went like 3-13. I don't know if that was the year. I should look it up. But there was one year. I don't know if that was Christian Ponder's last year with the Vikings or if that allowed the Vikings to draft Adrian Peterson in the top 7. But there was a year where they were very anemic when they were lacking the red blood cell count and needed more hemoglobin. Let's see. Let me look it up here. 3-13, 2011. So that is the first year without Brett Favre on our team, and then they must have that was Ponder's rookie season, I think. So that was a rough year for us. Mm. Yeah.
Are you the kind of fan that will stick through that and watch in December when you're 2-11?
I'm a big if you're not going to make the playoffs, just lose out. Get a better draft pick. So I'll be cheering for the team to be competitive in a very good loss. That's what I call a very good loss. A very competitive game. You entertained me for 4 quarters, but you also gave me exactly what we needed. A loss and a higher draft selection, which means a greater chance at a better player, or you can use that draft stock to trade back and get some better players.
I still imagine the Vikings in the huddle and Christian Ponder going, all right, AP, we got to entertain Minnesota Tim here. Give me a 6-yard run and then go down at the 2 so we can miss a field goal.
Sounds about right. Sounds very accurate back to that in that season. Sounds very accurate. What about the Eagles? When's the last time they sucked?
A couple years ago, Doug Peterson's last year, they were, I think they had a 4-win season, 5-win season, something like that. Maybe.
Isn't it funny? He gives you your first Super Bowl, then you guys are like, fire him. He sucks.
Well, I mean, he does kind of suck. I have the hot take that, and I will preface this by saying he brought the first Eagles Super Bowl to Philly, to me, longtime Eagles fan, a lot of heartbreak, similar to the Vikings and their history as far as playoff losses, just terrible losses towards the end of the year, all of that stuff. So I'll be forever indebted to Doug Peterson as an Eagles fan. I think he is probably one of the worst coaches to win a Super Bowl. Now, I can probably just say, don't even need to explain anything because, hey, he won a Super Bowl. It's probably a dumb take, but I'm full of dumb takes. I'm full of dumb thoughts. And this one I'm just deciding to put out there. So I don't think that he's a very good coach. I think the stars aligned in that 2017 season with Wentz, what he did with him, and then Foles coming in and being able to put on the performance he did, especially in the playoffs. But following that, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been very good at all. His last couple of years in Philly, he wasn't good. It was kind of the team was in disarray, and then it seems like he's not getting what he could be getting out of Trevor Lawrence as well. Maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't this, phenomenal stud, can't miss prospect that everybody seemed to think he was. But
Right.
Lawrence is in his fifth year. It's kind of time to nut up or shut up now. He's had plenty of time. So
That's for sure. And it seems like, because of what he did in 2017 with Nick Foles, well, then everyone expected him to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, and it just really hasn't come to fruition yet. But yeah, that was a sensational year. It's hard to argue that the stars didn't align that year with what Nick Foles did. Does he have a statue now in Philadelphia?
yeah, it's him and Doug Peterson. Call it Philly.
Wow. Yeah, this Philly special. What a play that was. In the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Was that a 2-point conversion or was that a touchdown pass? I can't remember.
Philly was a touchdown pass, yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Closed out the first half. Yeah, so they were 2020, they were 4-11.
Yeah.
Fired Doug after that year.
3 straight playoff appearances. 2017 won the Super Bowl. 2018 lost in the divisional round. So they advanced one round that year.
They were 9-7. I believe that year they had to. Yeah, that was 2019. 2019 they had to win their last 4 games. I think it was against all divisional opponents. That's when Carson Wentz. Everyone finally thought that he was back, and then the 2020 season was just a nightmare. I think the season like that though, where similar to what the Panthers are going through right now, and this was right as I was getting into being a big football and a big Eagles fan. I'm going all the way back to 1998. Oh. And this was Ray Rhodes. You remember Ray Rhodes?
No.
He coached the Eagles for a bit. He was a long-time NFL guy. Bounced around different coordinators. He was well respected from what I remember in the league, but just couldn't cut it as a head coach for Philly. They went 3-13. And I was only 10 years old at that point. So this was back before Sunday Ticket and you could watch every game at any point in Red Zone and all that stuff. So I'm originally from Maryland, and I'm an Eagles fan. So it was just the local Fox game or the local CBS game. We would always have to wait for halftime. JB, Terry, Howie.
Oh, best Fox News. Yeah, best halftime there is.
To come across and give the scores. So that season was terrible. But then they drafted McNabb that next year and changed the course of the franchise.
Yeah, speaking of similarities between the Eagles and Vikings had McNabb for a while too.
Yeah.
He was terrible for our team. I think we only had him for 1 year.
Yeah.
And I don't think he started every game that year.
He was
just like throwing balls in the dirt.
He looked good in a Vikings purple uniform, though. I will say that. He was terrible those last couple of years he was in the league. But I was always a huge McNabb fan. I was, again, being a kid, growing up at that time, I never understood the criticism, media, Philly media, especially, all that kind of stuff. But McNabb was awesome for the Eagles.
He, when he was a free agent that year, I called into my first radio show, the K-Fan. Common. I was a freshman in college, and I didn't really know what I was gonna say, but I called into the show, and then they're like, "Let's go to Tim from Fergus Falls." I was like, oh, what?
Me?
You talking to me? Tim, are you there? Like, hey, Common, long-time listener, first-time caller here. I said, I think the Minnesota Vikings should pursue Donovan McNabb instead of Michael Vick this year because he'll work with the wide receivers better. Then Michael Vick goes off and goes crazy with Andy Reid in Philadelphia, and Donovan McNabb can't even get a ball above the dirt. And then the co-host of the time, he's dead now. Dark Star is his nickname.
He's dead.
He's dead. He died. He was making fun of me because it took me a while to spit out what I was trying to say. So he said, Let me know when you let me know when you can buy some
You got it.
exactly.
As much as things change, they stay the same. Look at you now, all these years later, hosting your own podcast.
Still can't spit it out.
Speaking as elegantly as a queen from the 18th century.
He said, "Let me know where I can buy some Amish furniture."
Amish.
Yeah.
You all have Amish in your part of Minnesota?
No.
No.
Pennsylvania.
There's a huge Amish population in Sarasota, Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think they do if there's a hurricane coming?
Get in their barn. Hunker down in their barn.
Be turning the. Don't have to worry about washing clothes for a while, right?
Just stand out in the hurricane. Jebediah, get in the barn. Sorry, Mom. Washing my clothes.
Oh man, they have no idea that weather's coming either. It's not like they can pull out their phone and look at the app. Wow, looks like it's a windy day today. Where's everybody going? Why is
Jebediah, what's the forecast? Let me go look at my sundial.
they put up their fingers? Good thing we don't have to worry about offending the Amish. They're not watching this, are they?
Then the camera pans out. Davis's butthead is trying to.
Can you imagine a horse and buggy on the freeway? Every single car is on the 4-lane freeway, and then there's the horse and buggy trying to get out of town. Oh man,
they've just tied their barn to the horse.
We don't have to worry about losing art. We don't have to worry about losing our most valuable things.
Hold on, we're going to kick this horsepower up a little bit.
What television commercial is it with the horses? And it's
Budweiser.
Like Budweiser, yeah. Is Budweiser Amish?
From St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Man.
There it is.
All right.
Anything else you want to talk about?
So Trump almost got assassinated again. That's crazy.
Yeah. What a deal that is.
No. All good, man. Appreciate you having me back on.
Love
talking shop with you.
Talking shop wordly broke us the worm. Do you think it was? So there's maybe you can help me with this. They're still trying to figure out the political ideology of the second Trump assassinator. Looks like they're still trying to figure out what side of the fence do you think he lays on.
I'm voting for. Never mind. I won't say that.
You're voting for who?
I won't put that on an FBI radar list. No, I was going to make a joke, but
the podcast will get more downloads than ever.
We'll keep that one in.
From the Federal Bureau Agency.
Amanda will be like, Tony, there's an FBI agent at the door for you.
Federal Bureau Investigation. I said agency, but
female body inspector. You never heard that joke?
No.
The FBI, when you were like a kid, for a boy growing up, you're like, hey, when I grow up, I want to be an FBI agent. And they'll be like, what? Why? Think about it. FBI, female body inspector.
Have you ever played like roles during sexual intercourse?
Roles?
Like, have you ever been Tarzan or like Aladdin or something?
There's a gorilla. There's a gorilla on this couch back here. You bang her. Why does the gorilla talk like a caveman?
Are they the same?
The gorilla takes a banana out, puts a condom on it. What?
I think playing an FBI agent, like that role, would be kind of fun. Wearing black.
Yeah.
Kind of
They're
be
hiring for the FBI down here in Houston.
There's a what?
They're hiring for the FBI down here in Houston.
Look at you. Wow.
They
Are you
said
thinking about applying?
They were moving on with other candidates.
You applied and your roles didn't quite fit the bill.
Said you're more likely to be a criminal, not an agent.
That is funny. Oh man. Remember that one time where we were at Sirius XM and you were taking calls and screening calls and I went to go get a coffee, then I called in. I called in as Ed from Texas. And then he opened up the door to tell me. And then here I am on my phone.
I forgot about that.
And it just came out of nowhere, and I didn't want to forget about it, so I needed to bring it back. Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, thanks, Tony. T-Bone.
Appreciate you, Tim.
Go get that bone, baby. Morning wood.
Grind.
Get it up. All right, everyone. Thanks for making this podcast part of your day.